can't tell everybody a prophecy that somebody spoke. You can't tell everybody your dream because they're not in the place to receive what God told you or showed you. He says, it's time, Moses, to go a little further. And Moses begins to go further up Mount Sinai. And God is saying to Moses, there is a revelation that I'm going to give to you for the people. And everything that I told you, I'm going to write it down. And as Moses goes a little further, you find him by the mountain for 6 days. And I can imagine Moses being there saying, why in the world am I up here by this cloud and I don't see anything? And he said, now, when I was on the level prior to where I am now, I at least saw his feet. But now I'm here 6 days at another level of the mountain, and I'm only seeing a cloud. Something is wrong with this picture. I should have stayed where I was at. Because maybe if I seen your feet where I was at and I stayed there long enough, you might have shown me your legs. But you told me to come higher and I only see clouds. Oh God, have you gotten yourself into a place where you got so focused on God, but it seemed like God didn't show you what you thought you was going to see? He was in a fog. Y'all ain't talking back to me. He was in a fog. He couldn't see clearly. When he was on the level prior to where he is right now, he saw God's feet through something that looked like crystal. He saw clearly. But this next level was not a clear sight. It represented something that he'd never experienced before. Y'all quiet. Y'all quiet on that. It was nothing like he could even imagine. Imagine 6 days. He said, what, God, why in the world did you got me up here in the midst of these clouds? Confused, don't know what's going on. I feel something, I feel your glory, but I can't see my face. I can't see my hands right in front of my face. It's too cloudy. I can't see how my kids going to come out, oh God, of bad behavior. I can't see how you're going to give me money for my kids to go to school. I can't see how you're going to cause me to be healed from this terminal disease that the doctor said I got 6 months to live. I can't see. Imagine 6 days. Rob, I would have went back to the place where I saw his feet. I know you're bored, I'm almost home. But he says, the Bible declares that he waited one more day. On the 7th day, I'm almost home, I promise you, we're going to go to the mountain. On the 7th day, he says, a voice comes out of the cloud. See, he could not see God the way he saw him on level 1, oh God, oh God, oh God, because he was seeing the feet of God. But he got so close to God that he could not see the face of God. But he was actually at another level. But it didn't feel like he was at another level because he couldn't see it. See, whenever God transcends you to a new dimension, he takes you to another place in faith, which will take him much longer for you to see certain things in the spirit, because he's trying to develop such a relationship in you to say, don't just trust me for what you see, but trust me for what you don't see. What he is saying to Moses, if you stay up here long enough, you're going to hear something. He hears, I'm almost there, a cloud. A voice come out of the cloud, Pastor Wayne. He hears a voice come out of the cloud that says, come in. Come in. Woo, Jesus. Now mind you, God knows what Moses is about to deal with. So he deals with Moses symbolically how he dealt with making the world. 6 days he prepared. But on the 7th, he said, let there be light. Now you got to understand. Now Moses is on the mountain nervous. Because all he hears is thunder and clouds. And sees clouds. It's foggy. He's up there by himself. Joshua is not even where Moses is. He's close, but he's not there. And he's waiting. Storms coming, raining, drizzling all over top of his head. Cold. There's no cleft in the rock at this time. No security. But the only thing that's keeping him is a feeling. See, don't you know the only thing that's causing you to survive is the hope that's deep down in your heart. You don't know where it's going to come from. You don't know how it's going to happen. But you just got a feeling that things is not going to last like this for too much longer. God said, come in. Look. Look at him. He brings them into the cloud. And God begins to deal with Moses in the cloud. Now, something that was supposed to start and only be 6 days wound up being 40 days and 40 nights. Why? Because God knew what Moses was going to have to deal with. Remember, he saw his feet. Remember that. And now God begins to give Moses a revelation while Moses is in the cloud. And he starts to speak to Moses in ways that he could not speak to Moses when Moses was outside of the cloud. When Moses was close to his presence but not in his presence, God couldn't reveal certain things to him. And where the devil wants you to stay is close to his presence but not in the presence of God. Because he knows that if you ever get into the presence of God, that you won't waver, nor will you second guess God, because God will begin to reveal things unto you. So he begins to show Moses and give Moses instructions on how to build the tabernacle. And you find that one of the first things that God says unto Moses is how to do the ark of the testimony. I'm almost home. Then he begins to show him how to construct the mercy seat. Then he begins to show him how to construct the table. Then he begins to show him how to construct the golden candlestick. Moses could never see that if he stayed at the level of God's feet. He could never see that if he stayed at the level of being on the outside of the cloud. Then God began to show him how to put the curtains on the tabernacle. Then he said, make the curtains out of goat's hair. He's given them revelation. Oh God, I'm almost home. I promise you I am.